Hello and welcome to today's edition of Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. I'm Les Winston. I'm the national spokesperson for Charity.org. That is a project of the Endow American Network Foundation. And the Endow American Network Foundation is also working in conjunction with the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce, which also helps to sponsor this program. And we have a very talented group of people that are working together to make the communication of our objectives to the public well known and to popularize what we're talking about with Route 664. And we're talking about radio all of the time. And one of the things that is most important is whether or not radio is a surviving medium. And our director of communications, Wanda Myles, sat down and had an interview with Les Haber. And here's that interview now.
All right. Thank you, Les. Other Les. It's me, Wanda, and we're going to talk about music and the radio station. And with me to talk radio is one of my dearest friends and a guru of radio, particularly jazz, because it floats above his head. Les Haber. Thanks for joining me this morning. And I just want us to talk about music and radio and why we're doing this, why we're putting our heart and soul into this radio thing that I'd love for people to experience more of.
Yeah. So would I. It's interesting that we're non-political, and we should always be non-political.
Thank you.
I think what happens when we get political is you get two sides hating each other, and there shouldn't be any hate, especially in radio. And two, there should just be love. Music is a wonderful bridge. It's funny, too, because when I go back in time, I remember going to Overtown to black clubs and sitting in with black musicians, and everybody's accepted in music. It's not a thing where there's any kind of racism or negativity or political garbage. It's just music, and it's the love of music, and it's the connection that musicians have when they play together, and there's a solid connection. I was just thinking about something when I was doing the new show, which will be on Sunday. I saw a piece.
Sunday at 11 a.m.
Sunday at 11 a.m. and then repeated next Thursday. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday at 7 p.m.
A Thursday.
Yeah. And it was so cool because a pianist that I worked with for a while when we were in our teens, named Monty Alexander, he had just come here from Kingston, Jamaica, and we just clicked. And it was so cool. And then I saw a piece where in 1977 he was playing with Dizzy Gillespie. Dizzy Gillespie is like just an amazing musician, wonderful person, big heart. He's the guy that got Arturo Sandoval out of Cuba. So he's given so much back. And when I watched Monty doing his piano solo with Dizzy Gillespie's band, it just blew me away. And it reminded me of how he's grown through the years. He can play anything with anybody. And it's the love of the music and the connection with other musicians that makes it very special. So that's going to be a feature in the next show.
Cool.
There's a history in South Florida of jazz, and it goes back to places like the Hampton House, which is now a monument. The city of Miami helped restore it, and it's just a cultural landmark. And I was very, very lucky as a teenager to be able to go there and play with some of the greatest musicians in the world.
What did your parents think about you running around all sorts of parts of Miami?
Well, they encouraged the music thing, but my mother didn't like jazz. My mother was a classical pianist.
I know.
And she, and it's funny too, because my older brother became a pretty good jazz pianist and a psychotherapist, which is kind of an interesting mix.
It's all the same.
But she had
all therapy.
She had him on piano at 18 months. She had me on piano at 18 months. And when her brother sent me a drum pad, drumsticks, and a beginner's book, I was done with piano. And she also had my son on piano at 18 months, and he had the gift. And he still does. But he's just not serious about piano. But he's serious about jazz. In fact, the music in my family goes back generationally now to 6 generations, to the best of my knowledge.
And what country?
Russia.
Russia.
In 1850, my mother's grandfather was a featured soloist with the Moscow Symphony. His son, my grandfather, went AWOL from the Tsar's marching band right around 1890, 1895, I'm not sure the year, ended up in New York. All he had was a piccolo and a flute. He didn't have enough money to get off the boat. Met my grandmother. She lent him $18. He got off the boat and then he married her.
Wait a minute. You need money to get off the boat?
It cost $18 right around the turn of the century to get off a boat in New York as a refugee.
Let's talk about your other love, radio. Let's talk about that a little bit. How long have you been in radio, Les?
Oh, my God. Going back to the early 70s.
So collectively, between us, we've done at least half a century of radio.
Oh, easy.
At least.
Easy.
So
I've been back and forth between radio and television, but radio is my first love.
Yeah, you know, I got into radio accidentally. I love being able to use my voice. I wanted to do voiceovers, and I've always wanted to do commercials, and I've always wanted to be a cartoon. I had started radio right out of college, and it just took to me. I loved the idea of having music in my life all day long, and that was my job. I got to listen to music and curate music, as Valerie Geller says, which we'll hear from her in a little bit. In this day and age, is radio dying?
No, not at all.
Tell me why.
Well, if you take a look at statistics, and Nielsen measures radio is in every car. When you talk about a 50-plus audience, which is a preponderance of this country, more people are over the age of 50 than under the age of 50 in this country.
You know, and there's also more single people than there are married or cohabitating people.
Absolutely there are. But according to the ratings, radio is still a very strong entity. And podcasts are getting huge results for people. It just takes time to grow them. Live radio is still important. When somebody's in the car, they want to know how bad the traffic is and where it is. They want to know if it's going to rain. And most radio stations have weather and traffic. On the half hour, I don't really care about it, nor do I listen for it.
Yeah.
When I'm in the car, I want to listen to radio. I want to listen to music.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I was fishing for. Actually, I found these facts. Radio consistently delivers for all age groups. An astonishing 92% of Americans age 18 and older listen to the radio every week. And despite the common belief that radio is dead and not relevant to younger generations, which is always my concern, apparently the radio industry has grown through the use of smart speakers. Hey Siri, turn on Route664.org.
Don't say that too well.
I'm trying to set them all off across the country.
You know, funny statistic.
Give me another one.
Kids listen to Disney radio on AM radio all over the country.
Yeah.
It's been huge for a long time. I didn't even know it. This goes back years. I was in the car taking my stepdaughter to school, elementary school. And we were talking about hip-hop, which was brand new back then. I said, I don't like hip-hop. It's mean, it's vulgar, it's nasty. She said, no.
Not all of it.
And I said, what do you mean? She said, can I change your radio station? I said, sure.
What were you listening to, by the way?
What was I listening to when I changed it?
Yeah.
Love 94.
Sure she was loving that.
Jazz back then. It's been gone for years.
Okay.
But anyway, we switched it to Disney. And I'm hearing hip-hop that's really nice. That's targeting kids.
Jonas Brothers?
They're
not so hip-hop, but they're really cute.
Yeah, they are.
So actually 55% of Gen Z in the US listen to AM and FM radio every day. These are awesome statistics, and it gives me hope because I love radio and I love listening to music on the radio because I love not knowing. Like, you can listen to your Spotify and you can listen, and I enjoy that. But when I listen to those things, I like it when, like, I like to put it on, just give it to me as you think I might like it. Not either following an algorithm or just following the beat of my heart. But whatever, I like the surprise of what's going to be next. I don't like knowing what's next, per se. So I like that. I like that adventure. And I love that radio is the medium of the imagination, which I love. I love that we can still use our imagination through radio.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because in my first real radio job working for Cox Broadcasting, the sales manager said, when you're writing a commercial for a client, close your eyes. Mm-hmm. Think about what you want to say and how you want to get to someone so you can connect with them and to really listen deeply. And it's so true.
This is true.
And the commercials, if they're done right, and sometimes they're not, they hate negative advertising.
They should have my voice in them, mostly. Hey, 47% of listeners believe radio ads are a fair trade for their listening time. I thought that was a really fun stat.
That is a fun stat, and that's a surprising one.
Yeah, but I also don't know that I trust the ads on the internet as much because there's so many of them and anyone can create them, and I feel like everyone... Yeah, none of that fact-checking. I think that's plays into part of why people believe the advertising that they hear on a radio more so than they will on the internet. So anyway, thank you again for doing what you do. It's nice to have a jazz aficionado do our jazz show. And Mike is still doing the classical show. I'm trying to get him to open up to some opera. So there may be some opera in our Classy Sunday show coming up.
That would be cool.
And maybe, I don't know how, he says some operas are pretty long, but if we can get an opera under 3 hours, we're going to try and do that on our Classy Sunday. So it's Classy Sundays at 8 on Sunday, immediately followed by Just Jazz by Mr. Haber here. At 2 o'clock, we do a little dancing. Actually, we're dancing all day, really. Soulful Sounds with DJ Steve Cole from Baltimore. It's a really fun, I love the Sunday listening format of just different types of music, but nonetheless music that helps me move, keeps me motivated, and all the chores that we may have to do on a Sunday. It's kind of like your soundtrack for your Sunday afternoon of getting stuff done.
You bring up something interesting, playing an opera, and I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I had one of my guru friends who promotes jazz. She has the South Florida Jazz List in Virginia. She just emailed me a little while ago because there's this big band that I'm going to see that is phenomenal. In fact, I'm going to do a feature on them in the next show. She said, I can get you an album. Maybe I should play an album.
I think I'm open to that.
I think it would be really good. I've never done it. And I know some of the pieces I play are 20 minutes long, but actually those longer ones are more fun because you can feel the connectivity between the musicians. So I'm going to reach back out to her and maybe we'll do that.
Hey, if you would like to hear more jazz or an album or any suggestions for the radio station, leave your comments here. I don't think Miami Community Newspaper would mind. You can leave them at our Facebook page, which is at Social Security. I think you just do at Social Security and you will find it. That's Social, SECHRITY. Social, SE Charity. Social Security. Got it? Good. And Les Haber also on Facebook. You can find him at Les Haber. And if you want to leave him any suggestions for the show, we're open. It's great music and great conversation all about philanthropy. And with that, thanks, Les, for helping me out with this little... I just want to remind them that we have a radio station.
There you go.
Thank you. Have a happy day, Les.
You too, Wanda. Thanks.
There's so much out there. It's really hard to pick from, what looks like all the stars in the sky. How do you pick what you like? So I think curation for music, but ultimately what will save radio is if you get the unique journey in radio that you cannot get elsewhere. Part of what makes radio special is the personality of the presenter or the disc jockey who tells you about the music. And here's the secret of life. A powerful communicator can get you to become interested in something you weren't interested in 1 minute ago just based on storytelling. So if you have a story or you're passionate about a piece of music, you can get others to care. And that's one of the secrets of powerful communicators. There's no boring story, only boring storytellers. And as long as radio can offer us personalities, entertainment, information, connectedness, and humor, and fun, and telling us what we need to know when we need to know it, and use the visual of the imagination, as long as radio continues to do all that. But most importantly, if people feel alone and they hit the button, they don't feel alone anymore. That's the great gift radio can give. And if we can continue to do this in radio, radio will live.
Yeah, that was great. And my guest in the studio today is Wanda Myles.
Hey.
Director of Communications. Nice to see you, Wanda,
Well,
in
it's
person.
a lot of letters. I like to be DC, Wanda DC. That's good.
Okay.
How are you today?
I'm good.
I haven't seen you in a bit.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. And I wanted to...
At least
Can you put up the
right in front of me.
schedule? The
Schedule. There it is.
schedule, yeah. This is work. This is the station's schedule. And Wanda, why don't you take us through that a little bit so that they can highlight all the things that we're presenting now on the radio station. The station is something that you should be listening to on a regular basis. And if you're a salon owner or a restaurant owner, or you want it in your office, you can play all day. Great music, great talk. So go ahead.
You will dance. Just be warned. If you need to sit still, just give us 15 minutes. We'll have you off your feet. But it's the road to human kindness. And so the music is designed to make you happy. And it's generally music from all genres. No, it's always music from all genres. Not generally.
Okay.
Route664.org, if we didn't say that. You can also, while you're at our website for socialcharity.org, you can great music to listen to while you're learning everything about the 664 and other things that Social Security can offer you. But it's simple. The schedule Monday, Sunday, actually, it's 24/7. And on Sundays, we're music until about 9 o'clock when it's back to Mr. Winston here telling us all about Social Security. And we have many, many interviews that we've accumulated over a period of time. So those are generally playing throughout the day.
Where can they find the schedule?
The schedule is at our website, socialcharity.org. It's also on our Facebook page, which is full of fun stuff, nice quotes that I tend to find and little fun things. We keep it fun and light. That's Social Charity on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. And that's Social, SECHR. CHR.
No
I
problem.
wanted to check it. SECHAR. I don't know why A seems very hard for me.
Yeah.
ITY.org. That's fine.
So, and behind the schedule, we've got 664 equals E squared, the theory of social charity, because that is the driving force on everything that comes onto the Route 664, the road to human kindness.
What's E squared, Les?
E squared is endowment squared. It's something we want to do. We want to endow all of the nonprofits. And the Endow American Network Foundation, in concert with the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce, one of our objectives is to endow all of the nonprofits that are based in Aventura and in Sunny Isles Beach. And we also recommend other chambers of commerce do the same thing, that this is a way to build the community's charitable wealth and to take care of the social needs of the community through the human kindness of everybody in the community. And my guest, Wanda, congratulations.
Thank you.
Becoming Director of Communications.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir.
I think you
Can
do an amazing job.
I want to say one more thing about the radio.
Sure.
We've just added some new shows. We have the Michael Chapman Thanksgiving show. There it is down at the bottom. Michael Chapman is in, I think he's up in West Palm, up that way. He is works up there. So these are all guests that we've had on the radio station or with Les at an interview at some point in time. Michael is around 2:00 and great shows. It's just about philanthropy. There's a movie, a documentary. There are authors that are on his show as well. And then at 4:00 we have Blaine Bartlett, who I've had the pleasure of having conversations with. He's a great guy, and Les interviewed him, and you'll hear his interview on there. I'll try and schedule it sometime in the near future, but his show is The Soul of Business, talking about how businesses should have more soul and not be all about that bottom line and caring more. And I think we're all into that. And then we have our music shows, Just Jazz, Classy Sundays, and Soulful Sounds with Steve Cole. And the Everyday Hero is one of my new favorite editions. Oh, and the Teen Money Matters. Oh, there's so much. There's so much. You check the schedule. Just check the schedule.
Yeah, the Teen Money Matters is important. Young people can listen to their peers teaching them about financial literacy, which is the Money Matters segment. And we had the pleasure of interviewing both of the Qatari youngsters with regard to their work that they're doing, that they want to change the financial literacy of their peers.
We're trying to get them back on. They're busy. Sonica's a senior now, so.
Oh, I'm sure.
So she's quite busy.
Yeah. So, and also, on the schedule, you can see what interviews are going to be replayed.
Yes.
They're replayed the entire week from Monday through Friday.
Some days off and on, it depends on the shows that's why you got to check that schedule.
Yeah, check the schedule and make sure that you listen to Route664.org radio. And thank you, Wanda. Thank being
you.
With us
all right.
now. And
are you going to go to your whiteboard?
I'm going to go into my whiteboard,
right.
because I think we need to have a lesson today about 664 and what it can do. So this is a little bit of a story that it highlights the importance of planning and getting ready to do things using the concept that maybe charity and 664 and Social Charity can help you in the transaction. So what happened was I got a call from one of my CPAs who refers some of his clients to me. And this lady had purchased an apartment for $1 million about 15 years ago and was selling it, actually had sold it. And the CPA had told her that maybe there's a way to mitigate some of the taxes. And I said, that's too bad that she waited till after she sold it, because when you do this thing before you sell it, you're a lot better off. Let me show you what I mean. So here's the situation. If you were to compare using the government side to the charity side, because that's how social wealth is divided. It's either by taxes or by charity. So let's look at the way it happened in this situation. She had a $6 million apartment with $1 million basis, and she ended up having to give the government, she'll end up having to give the government $1 million in tax, which means at the end of the day, she'll have about $5 million to produce income. Now, this is a very wealthy woman. She has a lot of other assets, but it's just a question of how you want to direct things. So in this instance, if she were to use a charitable device, she could take the same $6 million with the $1 million basis and end up paying no tax and have $6 million to produce income instead of $5 million to produce income. So that's better on that side already. But in addition to getting the $6 million in income production for $6 million, she also gets a savings of $1,700,000 in taxes over the next 5 years that she can use to reduce her overall taxes. One other thing happens. When this lady passes away, part of this $6 million is going to end up going to charity. And so what we created is actually 6 million plus $1.7 million plus whatever goes to charity by using this device. She's better off income-wise, and she's better off because she saves $1,700,000 in taxes. Now, she didn't do that. She sold the property, and then they're coming back and saying, how can I reduce the tax bite? It's not as effective, but you can do some things to mitigate the taxes. And that has to do with, and I want to just alert you to this, Thank you. I want to alert you to what is available right now. So the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce and the Endow American Network Foundation are getting the word out that there's available right now pooled income funds. Pooled income funds can be used today to help you create a very powerful income source for retirement, as well as create tax savings and use it for tax planning. There are a lot of folks out there right now who may be considering gifting stock to a donor advised fund, which is a great idea to get a tax deduction, or gifting real estate to a charitable organization to get a tax deduction. That's a great idea. But if you look at a pooled income fund as opposed to that idea, the pooled income fund allows you to get not the full tax deduction, but you get all of the income from what you've given. That's really important. If you can get all the income from what you've given, then you've accomplished two things. You've accomplished getting a tax deduction in part. You've accomplished getting income, an income source from your gift, which you didn't have to pay any tax on. And at the end of the day, you're making a very substantial gift into the charitable community. Those are all very, very powerful objectives for anybody in their financial planning, especially in today's world where we have inflation and you have the cost of living is going up. If you can save tax dollars, that's an advantage that you must take advantage of if you can. So that's why 664 needs to become part of your language. If you're listening out there, I hope, you know, my compliments to Jane. She made a very significant gift and a very significant sale. I'd like to be able to show her how she can use some of that to help the community as well as help herself and produce income. If you're interested in learning more about this, you can go to the website, socialsocharity.org, and check out the information that's there. You also can find an advisor who can help you through the process of utilizing one of these charitable devices, because they're very powerful, but they have to be done properly. That website, again, is socialsocharity.org. The radio communication that we're doing is extremely important. The station has all of the good things about music, all the good things about people helping people, and philanthropy. And that's an objective that we can't stress enough at this time. We need to have more human kindness. And human kindness can be generated in a lot of ways, and you can show your human kindness. You can volunteer to work for the community. You can also do things to plan for yourself utilizing these charitable vehicles. I want to also give a shout out to Les Haber and appreciate him doing the work that he does for the jazz show that we have on Sunday, and also Mike Paxton. You know, it takes a lot of time to put these shows together, and we certainly appreciate the effort that they make in helping you to enjoy classical music and jazz, in addition to our phenomenal selection of music by Wanda, our communications director. And I hope that you'll tune in and listen 24/7. It doesn't get boring. It just keeps you alive. It keeps you happy and tapping your feet, and also getting great information. Listen to the special shows as well. Money Matters with the Qataris, the Giving Show. And also we got Soul of Business, Office Hours. You got a lot to choose from. It's a great schedule, and super information that you can use for your own well-being. We wish you a happy day going forward, and we'll be with you again, same time, same station next week. Have a great week.